What's up, guys? Our wrestling podcast back at you with another episode. This is Dave Vicious along with Jess the Total Package, Craig the British Bulldog, bringing you our perspective on the world of professional wrestling. No inside sources, no ties to the industry, just stories from the diehards, sharing opinions with you. Today's topic, Wrestling Gets Real 6, Backstage Assault. For audio fans, give us a listen on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcasts.
I like that this episode has a subhead called Backstage Assault. That's fantastic.
I did it on purpose because, you know, Dave said it in private. It's fitting.
It's fantastic.
It is the time for Backstage Assaults.
And
or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. On social media, can you really upset Jess and follow us on Instagram or Twitter?
Maybe my rants have worked, and that's why we've been getting a lot of like engagement.
O.W.P.
Because I'm calling you stupid fucks, which is what you are.
Or on Facebook,
you guys
Our Wrestling Podcast.
No,
maybe that's working. It's tough.
Jess is really trying to be the heel here.
You guys are all dumb. All of you are dumb.
No,
and you just want. Well, I'm right, and the way I want to watch wrestling is the only way. I mean, I was like that in my 20s and 30s, but motherfucker, when you mature, you don't need to be like that anymore. You got to just support all wrestling. You got to support our shit. We're doing Backstage Assault. We're assaulting you backstage.
Dave never got past the opening paragraph. That's fantastic.
Dave doesn't matter anymore to me. What? Oh fuck! I did not mean to say that out loud. I did not mean to say that. And this is our I don't know when this is going to air, but it's our second episode, so we are right now with holy water.
I will tell you that I told Jess
hydrated, as they say. Hydrated?
No, I'm super hydrated.
Hydrated is good.
Yeah. This is our 6th installment of Wrestling Gets Real. Number 5 was all dedicated to New Jack, and I
was not on there, and that's my biggest regret in the history of this podcast that I was not on the New Jack episode.
Yeah, it was fun, and then now I wanted to do Backstage Assault, so we're only going to be doing real events. This is not storylines. This is real fights that happen backstage. So I kind of want to hope we've covered some backstage fights before in our first few installments, but now I really want to just start doing specific. Like backstage shit. And this is, dude, there's so many backstage fights. It's so funny. I mainly did this too because people want to shit on AEW and say, oh my God, it's falling apart. I'm like,
it's never happened before about the out of control locker room. It's unprecedented.
The AEWs, there's never been dysfunction. Like, have you watched WCW? Have you did you hear about the Shawn and Brett fight backstage?
Have you heard of the 1980s or 90s? Have you heard? Have you done cocaine?
Have you heard of Jacques Rougeau punching Dynamite Kid and shattering his teeth?
Have you spent 250 days on the road?
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that we can cover. So we're just going to talk about.
Are you Arn Anderson?
And these 3 stories, by the way, one of them we might have known about, but like the first one that Dave's going to cover, I didn't even know about until I researched. I was like, what? Like this happened?
This is good. But to the point, before I get into it, I have to say there's been I don't want to say multiple, but there has been 2 major backstage fights in AEW. It could happen recently. But I'm saying that it kind of prompts this topic. No dumping on AEW. They're bringing great stuff to us.
They're a growing company. People fought in WCW.
They're going to have their growing pains. It's fine. You can't tell me that WWF, WCW didn't have their backstage stuff. Speaking of which, let's talk about Arn Anderson and Disco Inferno at WCW in 1999. In May of same year, Arn Anderson and Disco Inferno got into a scuffle on a shuttle bus after getting off a charter flight. On that flight, Disco was verbally joking around with Hugh Morris and was saying things like, "Your family is coming to watch tonight? Does your family even know who you are? I'm probably your daughter's favorite wrestler." That's just good ribbon. After they got on the shuttle, Disco began taunting Hugh again. Arn had told Disco to cut the shit.
Disco was nobody's daughter's favorite wrestler. Like the fact that he thought he could get away with that.
Disco was known for shit talking and pushing buttons.
He's ribbing.
Yeah, Disco was ribbing. He was being crazy.
And that's fun.
And we'll talk into it later. They were, again, like us right now, they were super hydrated and on they ate a lot of Tic Tacs.
Disco was
they ate a lot of white Tic Tacs.
fine.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and that's what he said. He also told Disco, we had a long day behind them, and everyone had been drinking. They're exhausted. Disco looked at Arn Anderson and said, or what? Are you going to beat me up horseman style? That's fucking great. Arn proceeded to slap the shit out of Disco and said, no, that's Marty Lundy style.
So we get our bags. We go get on the rent-a-car bus. Now it's smaller area, close proximity. He starts again. Yeah. I'm a much bigger star than you are. Now he's goofing on him, but I could see it ain't getting over. Now he's getting red in the face. And I just leaned in and looked at him. I said, cut the bullshit out. You know, we're all tired as fuck. We're not going to get any sleep. We're going to sleep a few hours, grab a gym, and we got to drive to Jacksonville. Oh, what are you going to do? Beat me up horseman style? Was his reaction. So I slapped the shit out of him and said, no, that's Marty Lundy style, motherfucker. And so I cupped him pretty good, and he got a blank look on his face, and that's the real story.
That's Marty Lundy style.
I love it.
Style.
I love that best. even in like in 1999, Anderson was retired already, and he was like road agent. So I just love the fact that like he still thought to have the wrestling promo brain. It's a real life event that's happening. Yeah. He's like, oh, Disco's like, are you going to beat me up horseman style? He's like, slap, no, motherfucker, Marty Lundy style. Like it's just fucking think amazing.
We've buried the lead here. So Anderson is not an active competitor. He's a road agent with WCW at this point.
Yeah.
That's huge. I did not know that. Anderson and Sid is different when they're both competing. Anderson is a road agent telling an active competitor and slapping the shit out of his mouth.
But it's a cruiserweight. Let's be real.
That's amazing.
But this is the funny part, Dave. Read the last sentence, Dave. It makes all of it right.
Yeah, this is great. Arn told the story on his podcast with Conrad. This is very recent. Disco played the clip on his podcast with Conan, piece of shit, and said that Arn had told it 100% accurately.
First of all, because first of all, everybody was annihilated. Okay, we were all fucked up from the flight. Second, the first thing that went through my head was shock, and like everybody, you got to understand that it was weird because it's like a rental car bus. Okay, so it's like a very weird position where, like, you know, there wasn't. He was sitting behind. I was sitting on the aisle of one seat. He was one row behind me on the other seat. Okay, on the opposite aisle, and I was like turned around, sitting sideways. Okay, the first thing that did when he slapped me, everybody like the look on everybody's face was complete shock because it came out of nowhere and it really wasn't like, you know, like I didn't do anything to make him want to slap me. The first thing that went through my head is like, if I hit this guy, am I going to get fired?
I love how Disco was like, yeah, that totally happened.
Listen, Disco does a lot of stuff to push people's buttons. He does it on purpose on the podcast to play the heel. Disco's fucking funny. Like, he really is. And like, you could agree or disagree. Disco does a lot of stuff. Like, Disco is really funny.
Can I
He's really talented
say
in the ring
that
too.
Disco was uber talented in the ring? And
underrated.
He was such a good wrestler.
All our retro pay-per-views, we look back now, and we're always talking about disco matches. Like, shit, we overlooked this guy.
Yeah, there was one that we talked about with him against Malenko, and I just kept going, dude, like, fucking Disco was so good. Like, he was just... He was a great worker. He knew where to be. Like, Disco's a good wrestler. I get it. He's Disco Inferno. I get it. But like, he was really good at what he did.
Yeah,
and he's a huge fucking heel on the podcast. He does it on purpose. He pushes buttons. He did here, and he got the shit slapped out of his mouth, which is great.
I love it. And he's like, yeah.
But I love the conclusion where like he's like, no, that's really how it happened. How many times do we see a shoot interview with the wrestler, and the other wrestler goes, that's not how exactly how it happened. Disco's like, no, I mean, yeah, it's how it happened.
Yeah. He whooped my ass on that bus.
We were all drunk and on pills, and he slapped the shit out of me.
There you go.
And it's like, it's all a super quiet ride home after that. It's like, and you hear like sniffling of Disco, like.
I've been on those buses, by the way.
I don't like getting like that with you, but when you push me, I have to punish you.
I can't explain it. It could be high school, it could be college. If you've been on a bus where you're on a team, like football, wrestling, whatever, somebody gets mad and somebody's like, "What are you going to do about it?" and they beat the shit out of each other on the bus, it's a very quiet ride home.
And I will say there's still the road agent relationship with the wrestler is one of like, you can't hit a road agent. So he actually kind of had to eat it. So even if Disco wanted to, he's not going to, and he had to eat that stuff.
Arn Anderson,
and he was in the wrong also. It's like, you don't mess with Big Dad. Like Arn Anderson, when he was 28, looked like your dad. Like, so you don't fuck with Arn Anderson.
Anderson always looked like he was 40.
Look at him.
Always.
Yeah. Look at him. He's just peak
somebody,
right there. He's peak.
Somebody ribbing somebody, but
look at his
ribbing somebody else shouldn't be.
He's 25 there.
Yeah. Someone shouldn't be like, I'm going to fuck
16
you up
years old there.
You're ribbing somebody else over his family coming to town. Like,
but I love the morality line of Arn was like, no, not the daughter. She's not your favorite wrestler.
Yeah,
we've all been
and also to be told too, Disco even said that Arn has really a dry sense of humor, and Arn and Disco used to always like verbally fuck with each other just for fun, and they would laugh or whatever. But for some reason, like Anderson, when he started making fun of Hugh Morris's family and daughter, Arn's like, "That's enough. I will not tolerate this." It's just freaking done. Like it flipped a switch in Anderson's head. He's like, "You've had way too many Tic Tacs and holy water. Slap. No more." Like it's just kind of.
That's fantastic.
What did Five Fingers say to the face? Marty Lund style.
Yeah, Marty Lund style, motherfucker.
Bus driver, keep on rolling. Don't stop.
This is Lundy style. Let's.
You call me Martin, not Marty.
Let's jump to the next one.
I'm Martin
RVD
tonight.
And Taz.
That is Dr. Lund, asshole.
I'm going to repeat it again. Move on. RVD and Taz and ECW.
I fucking hate Disco. Sorry, go ahead.
No.
Sorry, Dave.
You're not going to give this one enough love. You're just not. You're stuck in.
All right, go ahead. Start over again.
I'm gonna turn this bus around to Charlotte.
RVD and Taz, ECW 1999. Taz was pushed to the moon in ECW. His quiet, brooding character was portrayed on screen.
Spoiler alert, always hated Taz, never liked him ever in the history of my life. Thank you, and continue. And
backstage, however, he was developing quite an ego.
Oh, no, really?
He, Tommy Dreamer, and Bubba Ray Dudley were very tight with Heyman and had his ear. RVD was all about airing his spot and stealing the show every night. Taz noticed this and felt RVD was a threat to the top spot. After a tag match against RVD and Sabu, Taz felt the match was lackluster and made it clear he would confront RVD and kick his ass. RVD caught wind of this and waited for Taz to approach him. When Taz confronted RVD, he was asked to pick a hand. Confused by the question, Taz froze and caught a punch to the face. Taz backed down.
What are you talking about, hand?
Right, I don't understand. The altercation stopped at that point. Later, Taz admitted that he needed someone to knock him off his pedestal and was thankful for the altercation.
I thought that I probably said this on the timeline, but I thought that I put Taz and myself in a situation where we could not get out of it without fighting, without one of us killing the other one. And I knew which way that was going to go. But he found a way out of it, and I look back at it like that. Like I look at it like he was the better man because of that. Because nothing positive was going to come out of that fight that hadn't already been done. At that point, everything that I wanted to achieve had been done. I mean, I pushed him off the throne. I did. I mean, it felt like that because he needed to be. He was on a pedestal where he was indestructible. His head was in the clouds. He'll even say this. He needed somebody to smack some reality into him, and it was a problem with all of us, especially me. There was a lot of insulting going on back and forth. Okay, so I yank him off the pedestal. I thought he was going to need to be crippled in order for him to realize that I yanked him off the pedestal, but he already realized it, and I didn't know that. So he was man enough to get us out of there without anyone being paralyzed or crippled or even hurt. And in the end, look at the positive that came out of it. I mean, he's a lovable, great guy. We have mutual respect for each other, and I look up to him for that.
This gets talked about quite a bit.
On kayfabe commentaries, they do a lot of stuff or whatever. So RVD was famous for this. RVD's awesome. I've said this many times before. He's freaking badass. And he's a legit tough guy. And most of the legit tough guys never tell you that they're tough. They're just calm and quiet. The guys that are
have to.
Yeah, the guys are lately we've been seeing this on wrestling. The guy that's the loudest in the room is usually the weakest. And we heard that from Roman. And other people have said that too. I think John Moxley said it on AEW a few months ago. And it's true. When you got somebody who's chirping about how funny they are, how smart they are, how tough they are, they're typically not ever that. Because they're trying to project and they're trying to hype themselves up. And Taz was like that. I'm not saying Taz is not tough. I'm just saying he just bought his own hype, and RVD was not having it. And so when he caught wind that Taz was going to kick his ass, he's like, cool, I'll be waiting right here for him. So when he walked up or whatever, he's like, pick a hand. And before Taz, what are you talking about, bro? He punched Taz right in the face. And Taz just was like, oh shit. And RVD has been known to be tough like that. RVD can defend himself. And he has always been like, dude, I'm not going to fuck with anybody unless they fuck with me. And RVD is this unsung hero in the back that you don't fuck with him. RVD will fuck you up. And he's just, the pick a hand things become legendary, and I had to talk about it on this episode because it's so fucking funny.
I can't believe we haven't talked about pick a hand to this point.
Yeah, he never seems like the guy. He was never the aggressor, just a very laid back, obviously weed smoking stoner. But he
doesn't incredibly talented and incredibly talented. He's so fucking good in the ring.
Could talk the talk, walk the walk, never cross him, and he's just. I love that. Someone who doesn't have to use it for power moves, but can resort to it and can humble someone that way and be that tough. What a man.
At that time, he wasn't someone that he definitely wasn't someone that blends into the dressing room. He stands out and he makes himself stand out. Let me paint a picture for you. But this is when I'm not sure this is still 99 though. But when I first got to ECW and I'm meeting everybody, big open room, like a warehouse kind of room that's where we're dressing. Everyone's all, there's tables and chairs, people standing, whatever. Over here is Taz, but you can't really see him because he's got a circle of men around him, Team Taz, wearing orange jackets, and they're standing shoulder to shoulder, making a circle around him. And he's in the middle, hours before the show. Getting hyped up. And so if Sabu wanted to talk to him about something, you gotta get permission from the outer circle or say I need a moment of Taz's time. It was just he put himself in a position where how could you not have a problem with him? You know what I mean?
So RVD knew we're gonna cross
just
at one point in time.
Just a shitty entourage of hangers on of people.
Yeah, just trying to fucking put his image out there that he was really tough.
Did Heyman approve that? That was
yes. RVD said that later too. That Heyman was an expert at doing that. There was one meeting one time where him and Sabu, when they were a team, RVD. Walked to Paul Heyman and they had a big staff meeting. And RVD's like, do you need to be at the meeting? He's like, oh, no, you and Sabu don't need to be at the meeting. And he's like, I heard later that, of course, Sabu, they were in the meeting. And someone's like, where's RVD and Sabu? And he's like, oh, can't believe they're not here. I told them all that they need to be here. God. Yeah, and he's like, that's how Paul Heyman was. So Paul Heyman was always pitting people against other people. Because he liked that.
They think they're better than you, but they're not. I can't believe nobody is above the brand.
Van Damethan is not here. And it just, yeah. So that RVD always said it was that kind of Paul, you can.
Who wants to do more promos at my mom's house?
People shit on Tony Khan here, and I'm like, dude, Paul Heyman was a dick. He was not. Everybody thinks about ECW fondly, and I'm like, no, he pitted people against each other all the time.
Manipulative piece of garbage. I mean, he's a brilliant man, but
Rob from Peter, he couldn't manage money. Rob from Peter to pay Paul. Told you what you needed to hear. At the time, he had a lot of good qualities, a lot of bad qualities. Paul Heyman.
If they're happy, I'm happy. Thank you for Terry Funk. If I'm happy, they're happy.
Oh,
that was when Beyond the Man when he lost.
His voice the horse.
I
don't know.
Thank you.
Let's roll into something that's
what do you think?
It's not as fond Lee remembered as.
If they enjoyed it, I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, this wasn't enjoyable.
I love
JBL and Joey Styles and WWE. We all know, we talked about this to great lengths, that JBL is a locker room bully. On this day, on a flight home from an overseas tour, Joey Styles would slay the bully here.
Joey Styles. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That Joey Styles.
Yeah, JBL had been provoking Joey Styles for months, as he did many other people. He would yell odd things to him in public, trying to embarrass him in the locker room in front of talent. On overseas tours, JBL had been needling Joey Styles for the entire tour. On the flight home, JBL got really drunk on the second leg after not drinking.
Wait, RJBL?
RJBL. He went to Joey Styles and began to verbally attack Joey. He pushed Joey down in his seat and he poured beer on him. Other talent had separated him at that point. Later, Bradshaw walked down the aisle past Joey. Joey would get up and double leg JBL from behind, sending him to the floor. When they both stood up, Joey had challenged John Bradshaw Bradshaw at that point. Layfield, whatever. JBL threw a wide hook, which Joey easily ducked, and countered JBL with a hook of his own, knocking JBL down in the aisleway of that plane. The other wrestlers had to pull Joey off of him. Shad Gaspard backed this story up on a shoot interview. As he was on the plane, he had witnessed this directly.
Finally, he gets around to Joey again. And as he's walking past Joey, right, me and Cena are at the front of the plane, and we're on the opposite aisle. And we see Joey, and he unbuckles his seatbelt, and Bradshaw is by him, and Joey double legs him from behind. And Bradshaw goes flat and hits the ground. And then Joey gets up, and we're like, holy shit. And Joey goes, come on, motherfucker. And we're like, no. And Bradshaw just looks at him, hails off, and we're like, Joey! And me and Cena are like, no! And Bradshaw just throws this wide hook. And Joey goes, bip, 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 bip. And we're like, and all you see Bradshaw going, and he timbers down, and Joey's like, I told you, motherfucker! I told you, motherfucker! And we're like,
there's a lot of people, including Bruce Pritchard, that were not on the plane, and they try to tell JBL's side of the story. But Shad saw it, and Cena saw it, and he was like, I was at the front of the plane with Cena, and we had seen JBL just be a dick to him. So I guess for some reason, I don't know if Vince asked for it or not, but like on the first leg home, JBL didn't drink at all. And then on the second leg, he's like, fuck it. Like, so on the first leg when he wasn't drinking, God and other people were getting on the intercom of the plane. They're like, we would like to congratulate JBL on his sobriety on this leg flight, so they kept fucking with him. So Shad looked at Vince. Vince is like, keep going, keep going. So Vince was egging it on. He's like, this is great, this is great. And so it's pissing JBL off. So on the second leg, he just started fucking drinking. And I guess he started getting this shitty attitude, like, these guys are gonna fucking, like, rib me, these motherfuckers. Like, I'm gonna be drunk JBL now and take over the world. And so I guess he had always picked on Joey Styles, and Joey Styles kind of backed off. But I heard, Bruce Pritchard denied it, but he wasn't on the flight, and he admitted he wasn't on the flight, that JBL started saying things about Joey Styles' wife. And so Joey Styles got pissed. And that's when he went over there, he went over to JBL's chair, he went over to Joey Styles' seat. Joey stood up, he pushed Joey Styles back down the chair and dumped beer on him. And so Joey's like, okay, like, all right. Like, that's cool. So then JBL later was drunkenly stumbling down the hallway. And so Joey got up and fucking double leg took him down, smashed him on his face. When JBL got up, he's like, come on, motherfucker. And JBL threw a punch and he ducked it and fucking knocked him out like with a hook. And then just jumped on top of him and started hammering on him, and they all separated him. Good. So I guess a lot of people after that were like, JBL was never really the same. But it's so funny and telling of every bully, by the way. Shad's like, after that, they were good friends. Of course, JBL went up to them. So after that, they were always seen laughing and catering because the bully once he gets beat up, is always going to be like, dude, you're all right, man. You're all right. Like saying, and I'm sure Joey Styles did one problem. So most bullies, like when they get beat up, will want to befriend person that put them in their place because they're like because they're really pussies. They're really weak.
Yeah,
like bullies are, and that's what JBL is. Like,
and it's not the only JBL. Like there's the JBL Steve Blackman story in around a luggage carousel where like story. He slapped Blackman, I guess, on the buttocks, and Blackman says, "I don't play that. Please don't do that. Stop." And JBL did it again, and Blackman says, "I'm serious. I'll kill you."
Why would you fuck with Blackman, by the way? Why would you fuck with Steve Blackman?
Right. It was the same thing. It was drunk after a long flight, and then Blackman just destroyed him. Like, and everyone just said, I was like, JBL again in the wrong, stupid, dumb.
I'm sure they were best friends afterwards because he's a fucking bully.
Hey, Blackman,
hey, Blackman.
I still can't like hinge my jaw correctly. You're crazy when you kill me. When you
my jaw still clicks when I eat oatmeal, and that's all I can eat.
Click.
Do you think
he was good friends? He was good friends with the Undertaker and Bruce Pritchard, and that's the only reason why JBL.
Do you think that him and Blue Meanie get together on the holidays as well?
That's right, sure. Blue Meanie. That's right. Yeah. I mean, he was true. Like he was Vince's kind of, I guess, fake enforcer. Undertaker was the real like enforcer of the locker room and dad, but JBL was the fake enforcer.
He didn't have to bloody anybody up to do it though.
It just sounds like he's
Mark
just
Calloway's the man.
Always hated him. JBL, what a garbage.
I've never liked him. I don't like any of the stories that come out. Justin Roberts wrote a book where he was just a piece of shit to Justin Roberts.
Oh yeah, Justin Roberts had the same story of like having a confrontation finally outside. With him, and like he threw his bags.
I'm sure
out,
JBL backed down, and they were good friends after that because he's a pussy. Like, JBL's a pussy.
Wow.
Sorry, I've never liked him. His character when he was a heel was an easy, low hanging fruit character.
Like his greatest moments were in a tag team where all he could do is produce a lariat that would take people's heads off.
He really hit him. I'll never forget you, Craig. By the way, we were watching a pay-per-view. This was years ago. And JBL hit the clothesline from hell and took the head off. And he was like, we're like, God damn, that's really stiff. And Craig, without missing a beat, he's like, well, if he would just learn how to wrestle. And I was like, you're right. Like,
that's it.
He's got to fucking hit that clothesline from hell because he fucking sucks. Like, yeah.
If you were not 6'5", 300 pounds and could take someone's heads off with a lariat, you wouldn't be where you are.
And I know we're just fans. We don't know. But at the same time,
they're not friends.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, and JBL's been called out as a bully enough. And I think to where I'm like, you know what?
Multiple people.
And the only ones that stick up for him are higher ups like Taker, Bruce Pritchard, and those people. I'm like, right, because he's smart about money, so you like him. Like, sure.
And the people that are writing books are Justin Roberts and Joey Styles. The weakest guys that have all but stood up to him, but felt the need, like were pushed to that limit. That's a bully. I'm sorry. That's a bully.
Yeah, it is a bully. It is. Totally Vince was kind of a bully himself. We all know that.
That's great. Tell Justin he sucks.
Yeah, tell Justin to fuck off. Do it.
That's not nice.
Tell Justin his wife looks like a rhinoceros. Go ahead, tell him. Tell him his wife looks like a rhinoceros.
Anyway. This is a good installment. It's good. There'll be more backstage assault.
Yeah.
And it will probably involve Arn Anderson because it always does.
Everyone will. This is our Wrestling Gets Real is our longest running. We're number 6 right now. Like our longest running.
That's awesome.
I enjoy it.
I think this is what people really want to hear about though. The stuff in the back.
I think Cuz came up with this originally. I don't remember. I have to give him credit for that.
Is there an Arn versus JBL? Because if there is, then that's very meta, and this series would blow up and destroy itself.
That's just a generational gap. Otherwise, there would have been.
He said, "I don't have any stock tips for you, you redneck," and I said, "Well,
I was like, how about this Marty Lundy stock tip slap?
Pop, ooh, shot, ooh, call, ooh, putt, ooh,
just slap.
Arn, we're best friends. Let's go have a beer, buddy. We're best friends." Like right after this fucking idiot.
For audio fans, give us a listen. Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and Google Podcast. Or watch our videos on YouTube at Our Wrestling Channel. Can you really upset Jess? And give us a follow on social
media. Marty Lund says
on Instagram or
like
Twitter.
Current product.
O.W.P 2019 or on Facebook at Our Wrestling Podcast.
Or you can follow Chad and Eric's Monday Night Recap and be like, I can't believe they're doing it like this. Why do they book like this? You know what?
Marty Lund says,
if I ran my own company, I would do it. You could do that. You can listen to those pieces of shit.
Marty Lund really likes those podcasts.
Dave, did you say have a good one?
No, but it's fine.
Say it, huh? Come on.
Yeah, you have a good one.
Oh, okay. I don't like wrestling products. AW stupid.
This world is wrong today.